We are live. This is a Seattle Seahawks podcast where we are going to go over the Seahawks Browns tape. We have two big topics to look at, but we're going to start at the defense. However, we do have a preamble. If you're not a fan of the preamble, and people do let us know in the comments, they let us know either way. Occasionally, people will voice their displeasure at preambles, and what ends up happening is very kindly, other people share that they do in fact enjoy the preambles. But anyhow, if you do not, or you don't want to hear us talk about non-football, non-Seahawks topics, in the description, as has been requested by the anti-preamble contingent, I put a timestamp of when the preamble ends. It's a live stream, so we like to try and engage with our returning listeners who comment down in the live chat, which is a good feature. Okay, so Tyler, good to see you. And yes, we're doing the power rankings of TV networks NFL theme songs on Sunday after the Seahawks hopefully have beat the Baltimore Ravens with Ty as well, not just Griff and I. Jen, good to see you. Tyler, I do believe it will be heated. We had a post-amble topic of chocolate, which was, I got heated, and very nice in the comments that people agreed with me, Griff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
See, but the thing is, I never disagreed that Hershey's chocolate is bad or not inspiring.
No. They didn't just agree with that. They were like big on all American. They were, yeah.
No, the resounding conclusion was
No,
you can
I don't
find
think you read
good,
the same comments as me.
The resounding conclusion was you can find good chocolate here. It's just more expensive.
No, you still don't get it.
No.
Okay, let's not get into this. So you still don't get it.
Matty, I do have a good preamble topic.
Okay, but someone called Ty has voiced their displeasure at preambles.
Person. Ty, your voice has been heard. What now? Oh, Majumbo. No, it wasn't intentional. I just chose the 49ers and Jets clips primarily just because he went off in those games. He actually played very well against the Seahawks. He's played well. He was a monster against the Seahawks last year too.
This year, Majumbo, he had like 3 pretty dominant reps.
Yeah, he's a good player.
And then just solid play. So,
yeah, Matty, I did have a preamble topic.
Thank you, Jay. Okay. I'm very excited for the topic, but okay. Thank you, chat. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's 1914.
What month?
What month? Let's say June. No. Well, before then. Let's go like early spring.
Early spring.
Actually, no.
It could be June.
No. Let's go June. So, Gavrilo Princip just assassinated the Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Well, no, hang on now.
What?
Early June, you just said.
It's late June.
Thank you.
It's late June. Okay. This Bosnian Serb national just assassinated the Archduke of Austria-Hungary. Yeah, old Gav.
Yeah.
And you're a wee lad. You're 18 years old. You're working some sort of industrial mill. You're breathing in toxic fumes every day. You work 18-hour days. And some guy delivers you a letter and says you need to report. You've been drafted into World War I. So
for who? Where am I living right now?
London, England.
London.
The
crazy thing is this like actually happened to my ancestors. Like this actually happened.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've been drafted into World War I. You've been pressed into service, but you're all gung ho. You're nationalistic because we don't know anything yet. We don't know that war is bad yet.
Hang on.
What?
Hang on. Nationalistic.
Yeah, you don't know any better.
So for king and country.
Yeah, for king and country, because you're propagandized. You don't know any better. We don't know that war is bad yet. Like that's not a thing yet. Like war is great and dandy.
It'll all be over by
glorious.
Christmas. That sort of
It'll be over by Christmas. You'll have war stories to tell. It'll be great, etc. So What is
Sorry. What type of factory?
someone where you just like make stuff? There's a bunch of
Right. Like what
machines,
happens in factories,
you
I
get like a
guess.
finger cleaved off every other week, and
All
boss
right.
tells you, "Oh, sorry about that. Get back out there," type of thing. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, all the class conscious individuals have fled to Ireland at this point, so it's been stamped out. So you have absolutely zero agency as a worker in this. Anyway, so you've been drafted to World War One. Okay, what's the most likely way you die in World War One? So I mean, shrapnel, trench foot, the flu, a bullet. How do you die?
I think just a bullet. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, France looks nice. Peer over the top and
Over the top, lad. All right, lads, this guy over the
or
top, over the
yeah,
top.
yeah.
I'm dying of an illness.
Well, you know Gavrilo.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure he died before the end of the war from tuberculosis, I think.
that's rough.
That could be wrong.
He died in 1918 per our producer.
Oh, thank you. What from?
Um, I don't know.
Oh, well, maybe
Yeah,
tuberculosis, maybe not.
yep. Oh, good old TB. He was
Yes!
imprisoned April 28th. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. Well, this is good, Griff.
yeah.
Timely
No,
as well. It's Remembrance
I
Sunday,
feel
isn't
like
it?
it's like a personality quiz, except how would you die in World War One
Mm.
instead? You know,
Yeah, it's Remembrance Sunday coming up, so good job, Griff. You're remembering.
is
What
that
do you
good
call
timing?
it? Veteran Memorial Day?
Armistice Day, Memorial
No.
Day.
Stop. Stop. You have a word for it. You call it
Well,
something weird in
we have
America.
Memorial Day and we have Veterans Day.
Yeah. So what's coming up?
Veterans Day, November 11th.
Thank you. There we go. Well,
Yep.
of all your preamble
All right.
topics,
How about this?
and I do put a lot of pressure and onus on you to come up with them. Like, could I come up with some? Sure, I could. Do I? No. But I
Rank
might
the
have to
world
start
wars.
because
Go.
that was really bad.
Rank the world wars. Go from least favorite to most favorite.
Okay, so my most favorite World War was World War Two because after that there was no more World Wars.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
and then my least favorite was probably quite a selection here. World War One,
Okay.
because
No, that's a good pull.
yeah. Also, at least World War Two was like destroying some like really evil entity, whereas World War One is kind of like
Yeah.
just
Just the lads getting it wrong.
well,
Like really
the
straight.
lads
Well,
being
actually, I
the
mean,
kings and queens and the monarchs and the yeah.
yeah. No, World War One was
I want an empire.
pretty abysmal. Actually, the first global conflict were the Napoleonic Wars.
Well, we don't talk about them.
It's like World War Zero. It's like the prequel.
You think?
Yeah, it was the teaser trailer
Is
for
that
World War One.
your historical take?
So I mean, isn't it crazy though how the beef between Prussia and France led to like the Franco-Prussian Wars, which then led to
Yes.
like the geopolitical circumstance that led to World War One.
Yeah, they just didn't fix anything.
What's your opinion on war in general? We don't like it. We're anti-war.
Yeah, we're an anti-war
pacifists.
podcast.
Yeah. No, I agree.
OG listeners of the show will recall that we're not a fan of the wars.
Yeah. No, I'm officially anti-war. Yeah.
Wow, that's very big of you.
But I like movies that have war in it because it's not real.
No, could be based on historical events.
Yeah.
Often is.
Yep. Anyway.
Have you?
Okay.
Yeah, I watched a really I've already talked about it on the podcast. I can't just keep bringing that up. Never mind. Well,
Yeah, that was riveting. Okay, hit it, Matty.
welcome to the Seattle Overload Tape Review Podcast, where Griff and I are diving into the Seattle Seahawks Week 8 victory over the Cleveland Browns. We have our two key topics. We may get to the second topic. We certainly will cover the first topic, and we've promised you guys defense, and the defense has been performing really well of late. So typically, we're going to be looking at how the defense had some difficulties against the Cleveland Browns rushing attack, specifically some certain types of concept. I think it's pretty insightful because Seattle's running so much of this one look, this one front, this nickel over front. And the way that Cleveland was able to move the ball against it may suggest some issues down the line. However, the way Seattle was then able to kind of stop the run to a degree is also encouraging. And we didn't feel that optimistic about the run game after the game. Since it happened, I think feel a bit more positive since we've watched the tape. We'll have to see. And then if we have time offensively, we're going to look at, if we get the time, as I said, Geno Smith and the opening drive, and then talk about, how the offense stalled and then how they came back and all of that good stuff. But before all of that, Griff, we have two elements of Seahawks news to deal with. Now, this is kind of rumor/news, but it's been multiple people have reported it. So, Griff, it's interesting that Jonathan Allen could have been a Seahawk.
Yeah, so DC Radio initially said, and then Brady Henderson of ESPN confirmed that the Seahawks initially reached out to the Commanders for Jonathan Allen, which is, interesting. And then they said no, like they weren't trading him. And they countered and actually offered Chase Young, according to Brady Henderson. And the Seahawks said no. They wanted no part of him conceivably at any price. I mean, if they said for a 6th-round pick, they're probably not saying no. But I don't think 2nd, 3rd-round pick they were going to go there. So I don't think they wanted him, period, really. There's some commentary there that they clearly wanted interior. Now, they were connected to Josh Uche as well, so maybe they just wanted the right guy at the right price, right? But I mean, yeah, John Allen is a better player than Leonard Williams. That doesn't make Leonard Williams not also a very good player. It's just Allen is just like one notch above him, because he's just an incredible player. That said, Allen is kind of having a down year, but I think that's because they're in a bad situation. Leo has been more productive this year than John Allen. Like he literally has been. I don't know if I'd say that he's the better player though. I would bet on Allen's body of work, which again is just a notch above Leonard's. But so it was cool that they were actually active at the trade deadline, really trying to make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you'd be happy with either, really. It would have been interesting to see what Allen would have looked like in this defense. And then Griff, what was the other news? Was there other news?
I don't think so. I mean, I mentioned Josh Uche.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, the Uche thing is interesting. Because it had been reported by Albert Breer that Seattle was, before Uchenna Nwosu's injury, considering moving Darrell Taylor, and I wonder if that could have been a thing where, if Nwosu hadn't got injured, they may have tried to package Taylor into an Uche deal. I know Taylor last year, he ended up not playing as often, and they ended up having to sign 2 veterans off the street, Darryl Johnson and then Bruce Irvin, after Johnson got hurt, as early down edge setters, because they just didn't trust Bruce Irvin. They didn't trust Darrell Taylor to be able to set an edge. So I think there's something there with the coaching staff, clearly not that enamored with Taylor. He's actually been a lot better against the run this year, other than that Josh Dobbs QB keeper touchdown, which I believe was on him. But, there's clearly a bit more buy-in, and there's clearly a bit more understanding from him about what his responsibility is against the run. That being said, I think the coaching staff clearly doesn't mesh with him. I think there's something coachability-wise where I'm kind of getting a vibe. But we'll see.
I think we've just seen Taylor's peak. Unfortunately, he has gotten it together a little bit in run defense, pass rush wise. I mean, he's not a one trick pony in that he doesn't have like he's not raw. That's not his issue. He's just too light. His speed is a problem. Like offenses have to account for him on passing downs. You can set up stunts because they will overset and then he can loop back inside. Like he got his sack, even though we think of stunts as like schemed. Part of the reason why he had so much space on the loop is because the guard and tackle are kicking really hard on a clear passing situation to account for Taylor's ability to bend and run the arc so quickly. And like 3 years in a row, he's been really productive. Well, 2 years in a row, he's been really productive in the back half of the year. So like it's just with the way he rushes, he's going to get production in time. It's just he's too light to really impact tackles and make them feel him, which, like he's got moves at the top of the arc. Like he has corner moves. He knows how to rush. He does have technique. It just doesn't always show up because like it's a 240-pound body, 245-pound body that he's got. And he doesn't have like strength commensurate with that of like a 250, 255 guy. Like William Maffei's 250, 255, and he plays like he's 265, Same with Nwosu. Taylor doesn't play above his weight. He plays at his weight. So I just feel like, what he is he's going to be a 6 to 9 sack kind of guy every year. He can make some explosive plays in the backfield as a run defender. He's not going to be super stout though with an anchor. It's just I feel like the writing's on the wall that he's going to walk, and he's a good depth rotational guy to have on a team. A lot of teams would like to have him coming off the bench, Seahawks included, but they're not going to be in a position to throw 5, 6, 7 million at him in the offseason. He's going to have to walk, and they're going to have to draft his replacement.
And if he does get, that second half of the season resurgence, or not resurgence, but kind of coming alive that we've seen in previous seasons with him, and he does get to like 9.5 sacks again, he on the open market is going to make more than Seattle would have probably paid him if they needed to anyway,
Yeah.
So it's kind of that'll be his kind of goal heading into the rest of the season. Now we're almost in the second half of the season, which is crazy to say. Yeah, is what it is. Obviously, Seattle giving up their second round pick for Leonard Williams, who Griff did a great breakdown video on. Maybe they, past few years they've drafted a edge rusher in that second round. Maybe they trade down from the first. Maybe they package their 2/3 to get back up into that kind of 50, 60-ish range to get another like Darrell Taylor replacement. We'll have to see where that comes from. Obviously, there's some other stuff they could work out too. Now, the other news is the Seahawks injury report is out. It's the Thursday report, so you kind of get a better idea of who's going to make it, who's going to be able to play. Now, there's a few guys who didn't practice, as often happens, but the real thing to focus on is Anthony Bradford didn't practice with an ankle injury, and then Damian Lewis didn't practice with an ankle/illness. Meanwhile, Phil Haynes was a full participant. So the interior of the offensive line still experiencing some issues. Evan Brown, it's good to see him not on the injury report. Obviously, he'd been dealing with some stuff. Missed a game, didn't he? Yeah. If Haynes can't go, and apparently, if Lewis can't go, and how much of that is his illness compared to his ankle, we don't know. But if he can't go, then it could be a case of Haynes. If he can go, he was a full participant in practice. It could be a case of Haynes slotting over to the left side, like how he's played in the past, and then at right guard, where Haynes would usually play, you could get Jake Curhan working in there. You could even get Jason Peters working in there. It'd be a bit yikes. Have to see. I mean, the good news from Sunday was Stone Forsyth really kind of holding his own as a right tackle, Griff, and even in the run game, like getting some really nice like ceiling blocks on the backside of runs.
Yeah. Stone's just developing. I mean, he was a good college tackle. His issue was play strength. taking on bull rushes and then also delivering in the run game. But like that's kind of catching up a little bit. I think he's figuring it out. I mean, he's had 2 good weeks of like really good play, honestly, at right tackle. The first week against the Cardinals, you worry because it's quality of opponent, right? And then the second week against the Browns, though, I mean, he might have had the best individual day of all 5 of them. And Cross got more of Garrett, and Cross held up well considering he's going up against Garrett, but he did give up a few pressures. He gave up a sack too. But then, like, Forsyth was still going against Darius Smith, who's very good himself. So, I mean, he's honestly, if they can get that out of the right tackle moving forward, they just need to worry about right guard and then hoping that Lewis can stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if just this weekend, if Lewis is able to practice on Friday and participate, and it is more an illness holding him out of this practice, not that ankle. I mean, Seattle for the first time in quite a while would have Lewis, Brown, Cross, Haynes. Like, and it'd just be one guy as a backup or the kind of second string option at right tackle. The Abraham Lucas thing is really odd. Like, it sounds really painful and sore, and he's been dealing with it through camp. But yeah, I guess he can return from IR when they want to. He's missed the mandatory 4 games, but yeah, it doesn't sound too good. I don't know what they're probably trying all sorts of things, but yeah. And it's described as just pain. So anyway, right, Griff. So defensively overall for the Browns game, this past game, I came away with, as we sort of said after the game live, you remove the screenplays. There were some weird things with how they're covering Amari Cooper, where, I mean, Reek Woolen's coming back from that knee operation, and I think he's just still getting back his full movement capabilities. Not that I think he's permanently damaged, but I think after an operation like that, you sort of have to really just get reps and reps and reps and reps and reps. Not that I've got personal experience of that, nor do I have personal experience of playing in the NFL as a corner, but he just looks slightly rusty, and I think by the end of the season, he'll be back to more like normal. But that combined with, a few other things, and Cooper being really, really good, and them having a good game plan going into it, it didn't mean good stuff. But like the way Seattle was playing their coverage, they didn't respect PJ Walker's ability to access beyond like the first level of throws down the field. And most of the time, they were proved fairly correct in that assumption. It was just the screenplays.
Yeah, it was just primarily the screenplays, and then, like you said, the isolation to Amari Cooper on a couple of plays. Beyond that, like, there wasn't much going on. The one play that grates me is they kind of have that seam route that sits down against half quarter. Devin Witherspoon doesn't cap his depth in his zone. He's playing the check down.
Yeah, it was like a case of
goes back to what you said about Walker.
And also, does the cloud defender play that, or does the curl defender?
Well, it's the way I see it ultimately is it's 2 in the seam, but I think it was bunch.
I agree.
But so Devin's been really good about getting depth and finding the possibility of an inbreaker. Yeah. So it's the one time he didn't, and it's like, is he just thinking about, Walker's just going to hit the check down? Yeah, it's on some of the screens they were completely fooled by some of them, and then on some of them they were pretty close to figuring it out. It was just the Browns probably drilled the crap out of it on offense because they know it's going to be their moneymaker as far as moving the ball with Walker. And Njoku's a good player, but I'm not really worried about their screen issue. Prior to this game, they've been defending screens really well, so it's probably just variance hitting.
Yeah, variance. The Browns executing really well, but also there's a part of that's kind of luck based. Like, all of football's luck based, but certainly luck influenced when it comes to a screen hitting at just the right time. And then 2 of them were just on Frank Clark. I'm sure there's a bit of rust there. And Seattle did practice them, as both Pete Carroll and Clint Hurtt said. They had a lot of them in the kind of opposition scout periods of practice. They just hit. I don't think you can... Like, it's not worth overreacting about, but
Yeah.
it just requires some savvier edge play, savvier D-line play. Like, on the double screen, they ironically played the triple screen, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
They played the 2 edge parts really well, just the middle didn't. So
Right.
that's how that happens. Yeah, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah,
Tyler
go
asked, did
ahead.
they run the Shanahan double fake screen with the tight end seam route? Yeah, that was
Yeah,
what
it
that was.
was the same play. Yeah. Yes, I'm not really worried about the pass defense in terms of what does this mean moving forward. It was a frustrating day result wise, but still, like, it wasn't an abject disaster. They had the 18th ranked pass defense against Walker. 18th ranked doesn't feel very good, but it's not as though they were just utterly destroyed.
No.
Yeah, so they continue to defend play action, under center play action boots really well. They're the best defense in the league at defending that right now. And we talk about how screens like Stefanski can manufacture production. Well, the areas where a good play caller can manufacture production with not having a good quarterback is screens, and then like play action, specifically boot play action, right? Because it can not always, but it can take the most pressure off of him. The Seahawks bottle those concepts up, so Stefanski wasn't able to fool them. Jamal, Bobby, Jordan, they all did really well with it, as to the corners. So they're leveraging those flat routes really well. Nothing is popping over the middle. Quandre Diggs had a cool rep where he kneeled down on one, kneeled down on the over route. Corner replaced Tariq Woolen. So they're really sound at that. So it was good to see that carry over against Stefanski.
Definitely. So let's talk about the runs. So Griff, in terms of the data, the run, I don't know if you have that to hand right now, but
Yeah, I do.
They're perfect. So their run defense from the data shows up as being fairly damn good.
So we're used to them being utterly dominant, right? So
Right.
this week they gave up 3.8 yards per carry. Their EPA was like 9th or 10th, so it wasn't that bad. The success rate was 18th, and I think that's, again, 18th, you take that, especially if the EPA is low. But I think that explains because they've been like first, second, third every week in success rate, meaning the amount of run plays that achieve positive EPA on that play, basically positive gains. So 18th is a little jarring, but they fell from like amazing to middle of the pack. And that's just in success rate, not like EPA. Like, they didn't give up huge explosives. They just rattled off a couple of like 6, 7, 8, 9 yarders,
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm watching it, it feels worse than it is because we're so used to them being amazing. So it's just that phenomenon of going from the best to like okay, for the best to good. Like, that's still a fall. That's still a big drop off, but it doesn't mean that the severity of the drop off doesn't mean they were actually bad. They were still kind of okay. But yeah, we're going to look at why they did kind of give up some of those chunky runs that they haven't been giving up all year.
And just as opposing offenses that they face down the line will look at this tape and be like, that's something that we could do. Seattle, hopefully, their coaching staff, the players, everyone will kind of learn from how this was a problem and come up with some solutions. I also think, hats off to Cleveland, a bit like with the screen thing, where they knew that was how they were going to be able to move the ball, so they had to execute it well. They really spent a lot of time in the details of this, and their guards in particular, along with the Ethan Posick at center, the way that they are able to chip and climb and work together to get, change a run, create the alley, really free up the second level to really make the lane and block it up well. I think few teams in the league can do it that good. Especially now that Seattle has Leonard Williams as like an extra dude in there. We have to say, because I don't think it will show on the tape, but Cam Young, he had probably his worst game, but that's harsh. He just came up against a really savvy, good opponent. Similar thing for Miles Adams as well. Going down the depth chart, you put Leonard Williams in, and his ability to play in the shade and spot Jaron Reed, but also play predominantly where we expect in the 3-tech spot for Draymond Jones. That's big. And Mario Edwards is playing out of his mind too, by the way.
Yeah, that's such a funny storyline. I mean, the guy weighed like 275 last year. He hasn't played significant snaps on the inside in like 2 years. He hasn't played this much since like his rookie year. And he's like the best he's ever looked. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Run and pass. Like,
yep.
It's very funny.
So just before the tape, the Seahawks defense allowed 9 explosive plays this week, which is higher again than previous weeks. So again, it kind of feels, whoa. And that is quite high. But Pierre Strong, 41-yard catch. That was a screen. David Njoku, 41-yard catch. That was a screen. Amari Cooper, 24-yard catch. And 1-yard Mario Edwards roughing. That was like ISO ball. Cooper, 22-yard catch. That was just bad cover 2 play from Woolen. More 21-yard catch. I think that was the seam play, I think. Cooper, 20-yard catch. That was ISO ball. Njoku, 18-yard touchdown catch. That was a screen. And then 2 12-yard carries, which I believe we have on the tape. So the main issue was... And also make sure you check out Griff's video on Leonard Williams, and make sure you check out our live reaction podcast, even though it wasn't that live. But because it wasn't live, it actually had some good stuff where we weren't just being... We'd been able to analyze it a bit. So first up, this type of run was difficult for Seattle now. I think why it's difficult is... Essentially, Seattle involves the nickel in the run fit quite a lot when they're in the nickel look. And by putting this tight end here and the passing strength here, Cleveland's ensuring against too high that Seattle's going to put their 3-tech here, but then the B-gap bubbles over here. So it's kind of a case of, as you'll see down the line with these runs, but it's something to kind of note and come back to. How does Seattle get a guy in the B-gap bubble? Because they don't want the... That's interesting, actually. Why did Jamal Adams go on that side?
Like, why is he rotated to that side? Well, it's over flex, right? Like, why is he not rotated to the Y? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, not even rotated. Well, they're...
Because he's the nickel. Like, he'd usually go to the passing strength.
Where are they in cover 3, though? Oh, you're right. He's the nickel.
Yeah.
That is very interesting, isn't it?
Well, something to watch for there. So this is this B-gap bubble. Why is this run difficult?
Okay.
Because...
Oh, wait. Did the slot motion over and he just didn't follow? They just bump it and then he motioned back?
I don't think so.
Oh, interesting. Maybe they know. Maybe they know he's going to motion.
They knew.
So he's probably aligned to the field. That's probably the thing. The nickel aligns to the field.
I didn't notice that, but we'll see. It might come up. So it's just inside zone with oh no, it's not.
Oh, this is the rollout smash.
Why did I think I've got this charted wrong? Anyway, forget that.
Chat, clip that. Clip Matty's mistake.
Clip that. So here's the tight end off the line of scrimmage. They almost pre-snap motion him. They split him along. You see how it just widens this B-gap bubble. The guard and center handle the nose. This tackle, because of this block, is able to free release to Bobby, falling back, and there's a natural crease up in here, and up in here, depending on what the back is able to access. Bobby makes a really good play here,
And
but
so
that's like a play. Sorry, go ahead, Griff.
I was going to say Jamal's the 7th fitter, right?
Yeah, so
So he's getting RPO. He's getting red right now, and that kind of
yeah,
takes
so
the
I
nickel
think
out of the
I
fit.
think I think this is down here's would be, if this was a slot, this would be palms, right? Like
Yeah.
I think Jamal's coverage key is basically 3, right?
Here it would have to be, yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess this becomes, he can just look in the backfield, slow play. I understand he's being read, but ultimately he's not able to fit in this B like this. I'm surprised they wouldn't have Maffei almost spill this block, but I guess the threat of the quarterback keeper, Jamal becomes the QB player, and they need this outside because otherwise it's too much space.
Yeah, it's almost broken, isn't it? And they do spill mostly in this game.
Right.
This is a great play by Bobby.
Yeah, this is a play which really he, all being equal, like on a whiteboard, he's not supposed to make this play. Like this is a very impressive play to not get blocked, basically, and beat the block.
The tackle needs to make the block, though. It's kind of inexcusable, but Bobby still makes it a great play.
So, really, if Jamal's outside and Maffei's taking on this block here, they're playing A into the B and Brooks is C into the A, right? And this is the key. And
because they're falling back.
Yeah, Brooks is probably just keying the back, but sees that cross the face, and Bobby's keying here to here. So they end up fitting it well. I just think, why not spill the outside backer?
Right. No, they should. And I think Maffei just probably makes the mistake there.
Well, yeah. Why I say why not spill it, chat, is because, and listener, is because if he takes this on with this shoulder here, it puts a body presence in here, and it means this isn't so wide, and you'll see down the line how that becomes an issue for Seattle. So
yeah.
Sorry, Griff, did you have something?
No, I was just gonna say that it would spill the ball to help. Otherwise, by boxing it, playing it outside Jamal is the help, and you have to run further to make the tackle if Bobby doesn't make the play. So
right. So here they're not stacked. So I believe this is just palms to the slot. So Spoon's read is 3, which is this dude right now. This is the B gap bubble. Again, clever from the Browns of having this guy start off here, knowing that Seattle will set the front to that side, so the B gap bubble is going to be here, and then post snap moving him over here. This is really messed up. Like, oh, he kind of tries to, doesn't he?
So Bobby's spilling the tackle, right? He just doesn't get. Technically, they're aligned for this. So Maffei spills this.
Yeah, he just gets a bit upfield. He's really wide.
Yeah, but he kind of makes it.
The angle's just weird to me.
He could have made a hero play if he play was flatter.
Yeah, and it doesn't help Cam Young gets moved out there, which again is like, it's tough, but.
Well, and that's Cam Young's, like, the weakness of his game is that he doesn't sink his hips very much. He's usually so strong it doesn't matter. He didn't handle. I mean, he handled combo blocks and like double and like down blocks well in college. This is just a rookie moment, kind of a rookie game for him. He'll be fine. But technically, this hits in Bobby's gap. Now that gap is wider because of what happens to Cam. But
and Maffei's so wide.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised he didn't hard. I guess he's got to be careful about the cutback, but.
Bobby's just not able to disengage. That is a hard ask for him. If there was more if the gap wasn't, it was more narrow via Cam Young not getting washed. But like they're sound for this, at least like from a leverage standpoint. So that B gap right there is Bobby's.
And Bobby gets too thick here, doesn't he?
Yeah. And like that's kind of weird because that's what they were doing last year. They were taking things on way thicker than they needed to, not playing like half a man, even when they were like in one high.
Yeah. It's like Bobby thinks this is going to cut back here now. I don't know. He doesn't expect Young to get moved like that, honestly.
No, if Young doesn't, then Bobby is probably okay in that the
And
ball.
Brooks makes the tackle through this gap, but it's not there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it really starts at the nose tackle, right?
Yeah, but that's a tough task, and they're very good.
Because what's been happening is the nose tackle play right there. They fight through that combo and replace.
Yeah, or they just are so aggressive upfield right into the center that the guard can't even get there. They just push the center all the way back, right?
Yeah. So it takes a village, really.
But there's no knockback here from Young either. It's like just placing the hand, really. He can play way more violent than that. I think he knows he's going to get comboed, and he's almost overthinking about that guy rather than just smacking the crap out.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So I think this is the next play after that, which was a 9-yard run. And again, this is tricky because the tight end is here. Now Cleveland's using a wide receiver coming in to do the same action. So Seattle's in. Is this man coverage? Yeah, I think this is man. So technically, because it's cover one, Seattle has the extra fitter already in the box on the tight end. In terms of how that impacts them, well, they've already got a guy in the B-gap bubble in Bobby Wagner. And then with this guy going across, what you'd expect is these guys to either Adams can run with it or they could roll. But I think Adams just runs with it. Yeah. So
No,
and this is
that was
cleaner.
much better from Mafe.
Yeah, he's more in tune to it. You see how he's in a tighter alignment. He also understands what he's getting, and that first step across with the tackle, he's basically, because he's tighter, when the tackle goes away, he can condense and squeeze on the edge, get his eyes inside. He's already seen that this guy's coming.
He's level with the tackle and he's square.
He just needs to make the tackle.
Well, but like he manages to spill it, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, but like on the he does so well, he could have tackled the running back, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. And then you see how that down block to the bubble, how that hurts. Like that's Bobby getting affected now. So the bubbles are an issue on the play side of gap scheme. Oh no, this isn't even. What am I talking about? This is zone, the split zone, but it's the same issue. How bubbles are a problem.
Yeah, this is. But I think this is cool because really, if they make the tackle here, they've fixed the issue by having Jamal already in the box, and he is actually involved because he's playing on the man on the.
So wait, does that mean Jamal needs to fall back then with the Y?
Yeah, I think that's how they're playing it. Okay. I think Jamal's man on this guy, and he does.
Well, that's an illustration of why playing cover one is tough to defend the run out of, because of pullers and
right. Like if Mafe didn't play this that well, who is here? You know.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough call. And look at Diggs. Diggs knows he kind of has to be a cutback player.
Yeah, which is why teams will, when this guy goes along, and Seattle could have this tool down the line, teams will roll this guy into the post and roll this guy down to get the leverage.
Right. Oh, right. Is that what you meant by rock and roll?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you got to do that then because they're kind of screwed here.
Yeah, they kind of get away with it. But I still like the adjustment of Mafe. And at least Bobby in the B means this is less. Having a guy immediately in the B, it means it's less room. And Cam Young can he drops the knee this time.
Tries to get more separation. He still gets uprooted though, so that's something we're gonna have to watch with him, I think.
Yeah. So who has the quarterback here? Is it Maffei
Maybe
and he just
Bobby.
makes a great play?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, that's Nwosu stuff from Boye Mafe. Little stuff that adds up. He's accounting for a lot right there.
Yeah, he's playing quarterback. They're in an awful call here. Actually, I was wrong. The playing cover one to this is really difficult.
Yeah, yikes.
Maffei just settles well to. Yeah, if Walker keeps this, yeah, Jamal Adams has to make an impressive play.
Mm-hmm.
Or Diggs. And now 48-18. So there's the stack again.
So, and they're in too high, so the nickel cannot be involved here right now.
Yeah.
If when the tight end splits across on the split zone run, because there's no way Witherspoon at the bottom of the screen can fold into the B gap, or if Derek Hall at the bottom of at the left outside linebacker spot, left edge, if he slants, great, but then he's still the front side C gap player at that point. Devin Witherspoon would be. So it's just he can't be in the fit here with that formation.
So what they've done is put Brooks in the B gap, and because it's trips, they're able to slide. But you would think that Adams would be involved reading this, right?
Right. He would be the 7th primary fitter.
Adams playing strong safety right now, people, or safety where Spoon is the nickel.
Mm-hmm. So this just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense at all.
Miles Adams is getting rocked, unfortunately. He had a bad drive on this drive. He gets reached later in the drive. So that kind of gets the party started for the Browns is Miles getting the one technique getting uprooted again.
Taylor's hard charging off the edge without recognizing this threat or what was actually going on because...
So, yeah. So, I mean, ideally, So when Njoku splits back across the formation, he and the tackle form 3 gaps on the backside, right?
Yeah.
And there are only 2 defenders back there between Taylor and Brooks. So I feel like Brooks is trying to fall back on the backside of the tackle to fit one of the gaps off of Taylor on the tight end. And then Adams has to fit that 3rd gap. But
it would make more sense to spill, wouldn't it? And then have Adams play the outside.
Right. But like you don't want to abandon the B gap. So then
it would make more sense to me to have Brooks over like stacking Adams, Miles Adams here almost, or like stacking the guard, keying this, and then when it comes back, Taylor spilling it. Brooks still playing the B, right? But stepping with the flow a bit more. Yeah. And then Bobby ending up where he is, really.
Yeah, Bobby has to be the A-gap player.
But if Brooks was here, then I don't think this guard stays on Adams as long. I think it tightens this up slightly. Yeah. And I think this tackle has to come and get him more, which would then put Adam. And then if Taylor spills it, then Adams. But I guess it's about Adams in space on PJ Walker if he's playing in the quarter. But yeah, this is not great. I don't understand.
So I feel like Brooks is trying to be the quarterback player too, kind of, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Brooks has to be locked to the B gap, and then Taylor needs to spill, and then Jamal just needs to come downhill into the flat.
But they're playing this with like 6-man spacing, basically. The way that this front plays, and Taylor could have just messed up, but the way the front plays with Taylor almost playing like the quarterback player, it plays like they've got 6 for like they're one light. When really
Yeah.
we'd think that Adams would be involved, and he plays as though he kind of is involved. I don't know.
Well, and then like how much of it is just Jamal always wanting to get involved, right?
Yeah, because we saw it on the not the previous play, but the play before. He looked like he was getting involved.
Right.
You see Hall's pointing out the Y off to
Right.
everyone in the front. Yeah, but
And if you are playing with 6-man spacing, you have to spill. If you're playing down a gap, you always spill. So I feel like Taylor just kind of misjudges his angle.
I don't know why Brooks is so he's like over cheating the play.
Yeah.
Unless they no, yeah. It just something that they will revisit, I think, and they'll be like, we need to align a bit different to this.
Right.
Assign.
I don't think they'll see much Y off against the Ravens though, because they want
This
Andrews.
this is the next play. Watch what Taylor does here. They stunt him.
Yeah.
Now Seattle's playing 1 here. Yeah. Man, that's so messed up though.
Taylor does make a good recovery.
It's so messed up. Because why I say it's messed up, people, is the same thing of if this is Adams' guy, then he has to filter across all this trash. Like they're basically a gap light to where a man light, so to the point of attack. So the stunt kind of helps them out. Bullshit the math.
Yeah, 3 gaps, 2 players. It's not good. It's a lot of stress on Taylor and Brooks here, on anyone in that position.
And they stunt like both sides, so they basically get into a tight 4 look. But Taylor just makes a great play here, really.
Yeah.
Because this is looking like trouble. Is this stuff though, Griff? The kind of like lack of like Cleveland having a good play on paper and Seattle not having that extra well, this is their extra answer, but like,
well, what it
in
does
the
is,
past it seemed sound, whereas this seems a bit like, oh, this is a bit tight.
so if this is their in-game adjustment, it allows Bobby to fall back and get untouched, or if he falls back and does get picked off like the tackle does, that means Taylor's free again, right? That's why Taylor makes the play.
Yeah.
So them pirating on the front side of it frees up Bobby to sift back. And I think that's how this play call has life.
Yeah.
But otherwise, why are they so determined to play cover 1? Like, this is all just to make cover 1 work with the run scheme.
Well, no, it seems I'd say cover 1 was their answer to this look, right?
But why though? Just because it makes it so hard to fall
they've
back.
run so little cover 1 usually. Why? Because they wanted I don't know. They wanted the extra guy. They wanted to be able to
Then just play cover 3.
because it means that Bobby can be the fast throw player and be spare, basically.
And not have like a zone responsibility that matters.
Well, and also Adams has got like this area now, even though it seems like he's doing very little.
It just feels like they're conflicting themselves so much, but I like the adjustment they made right there.
No, what I'd say is, how are they conflicting themselves?
Well, because when the tight end falls back,
right,
and the bubble, they've got, they're not playing fallback mechanics. Like normally if this was cover 3.
Right. Well, I'd say there's less conflict. Like Bobby doesn't even have to worry about falling back. He just has to find the ball, and Brooks can aggressively charge up here because he doesn't have to worry about his own. Like his man has the football. And Adams is like the spare dude who's eventually going to get there. But yeah, the QB keeper out here would be really worrying. Like, I'm surprised they didn't keep it with this because they still have the numbers. Like,
yeah,
Njoku up to Brooks, and that's and a keeper is because that's the real issue. The real issue is that Adams' extra gap is going over here, and there's no one accounting for it.
right.
But luckily, they hand the ball off. This is why I'm said to make sure, guys, you check out the podcast with Derek where we previewed the Ravens matchup. It's why I'm worried if Baltimore like watches this, just bloody keep the ball, like, because you can all see it. Njoku blocks Brooks, the quarterback keeps the football. This guy is responsible for this because they're not rolling down in the man coverage with it. Yeah. Like, why? I don't know why he didn't keep the ball, really. I guess he sees Brooks show up there, but...
Well, I think they won't need to worry too much about this specifically from the Ravens because that they're not going to run a lot of Y off. The tight end is going to be on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've seen Seattle get like Y off at this amount, this like high rate.
To this degree, yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's running cover 3. And it naturally gives them better because they've got a force player going to where the split action's coming towards. Secondary force player. Still not great though.
So there's spilling and then Love fits off. He's the
I don't know what Bobby's doing here. Trying to make the pirate right, but he doesn't key this. Like,
well, does he? He doesn't need to, I don't think.
Because of this.
Yeah, there's no A gap to fall into, right?
Yeah, this is just the space running out. Like,
so yeah, and because because Taylor's spilling it, Brooks doesn't need to fall back either. He just
they have the right amount of guys now, don't they?
Yeah.
Except for the QB keeper.
Yeah. Yeah, you're always going to be outnumbered for that, I guess. So that little bit of movement on read is just enough.
Yeah, they were really good at how they comboed the nose.
So because Brooks, so the B gap player though, he can't just charge his B gap like he had been in previous weeks because he wants to be an extra quarterback player. So normally Brooks would just go like assault that B gap right there inside 71. But
that seems so like
lateral.
It seems so like I don't understand. You can't ask your B gap player to do that and then worry about falling back to the quarterback. But I guess that's what they're doing, isn't it?
Right.
It seems really difficult and like not the best allocation of resources. Surely Taylor should spill this, and his spill isn't great. Surely you've got to trust Love on the quarterback. Like Brooks, just go get it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the chat saying? Cameron says, feels like this is a running scheme you want a true nose for. I mean, extra mass would help, but really the really how they'd killed this in the past was quickness. Not that they faced this kind of Y-off scheme, but having like a quick explosion and power to then smash the centre back and not even have to worry too much about the combo because you've got real knockback into the backfield kind of killed the play.
Well, and they also played a lot of 5-man fronts too. And that just makes the bubble management so much easier.
Oh, you mean when they had a true nose?
Well, just when they played reduced over, reduced under, like back in the day even. Like when they saw a lot of split zone, like against the Jeff Fisher Rams and stuff.
Oh, right.
You know,
yeah. This is more of a this isn't really a personnel problem in terms of that. It's more
it's a structure thing.
Yeah, and it's a really good run for the structure of the front, which is again why like I think it's a big thing for them to learn from. Am I crazy, or did Brooks miss a few run fits? Asked Akahi.
I think it's just that B gap is tough, just like it was for Bobby when he found himself.
They're worrying about the quarterback keeping the football, which I don't think should be Brooks's deal, but he's definitely playing cautious so he could fall back for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, the Lamar thing is slightly concerning to me on that. Last play, though, I think they came up with a solution. Oh, they actually decided to keep the ball.
Oh, do they keep it on this one?
But what's interesting here, I don't know if this is Hall being told to do this, but he plays the tackle. Which just janks up the timing because this guy's going for the unblocked end man, and he has to bubble out, which allows Spoon to. Yeah, it's really hard to get a good block run in the NFL because of how fast everyone is and how good they are getting off blocks and coming up. So like here, it looks like a touchdown almost, right? Like bang. This is 3 weeks Sky again, though.
Brooks handles that really well. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. What's the down distance here? 1st and 10. Yeah, and they're expecting run because it's that kind of milky clock situation.
Cam Young gets moved again by that combo.
Is this a pressure of Adams? No. I don't think so. Could be. No, it won't be. But yeah, it's interesting this play from Hall, like if that's by design or like if that was their adjustment was to just go, hey, just smack the tackle. And then we'll let Brooks play in here to here with the.
Yeah, well, it's one way to ensure you spill the gap too, right?
Yeah, you're essentially almost two gapping to take the air out of this, right?
Yeah, but you're also spilling the tight end no matter what.
Yes, yeah.
Just because you're attached to the backside hip.
Yeah, although not taking the block on, but yeah. Anyway, so that run did concern me because it was the first time I've seen them have real difficulties with like the same concept each time from the same look. It's not massively easy to replicate in that, as we said, Cleveland's guards are really good, but and how they work with their center, but yeah, definitely something they'll see again, I think. And maybe against the Ravens. Like, they have Ricard, Griff. Like, Ricard is the Y-off doing that.
Yeah, but they're not using a lot of 12 personnel. And they're not going to take Andrews off the field, are they? Or are they? I guess I need to watch more of that.
I hope they don't do it. Because, yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure Seattle will have seen it
Well,
and been
and
like,
if they play Penny, that part of it, the motion won't be as much of a problem. It will be the knock on or the downstream effect of coverage issues, handling running back to the flat with having one of your outside linebackers be a coverage player.
yeah. All right, Griff, shall we move to the offense?
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to do tape, but I think we should definitely give our overviews. So for me, the first drive, or the first drives, were a case of the plays that Waldron called were open, or when it came for Gino to improvise, he was excellent at improvising and creating when structure was breaking down, or when he felt the need to kind of speed things up, and he was noticeably remarked on it live as well, saw it live. It was quite obvious that he was really playing quick, like with the pass rush. Carroll commented that was kind of a point of emphasis heading into the game as well. Then, as the game progressed, Gino missed a few throws uncharacteristically, like through inaccuracy. Kind of happened towards DK Metcalf, which is weird. And stuff that, their runs like inconsistent. There's just general inconsistency in execution on the offense. But I didn't really have an issue with Waldron's play design or anything like that. They just got against a defense that good. You have to execute pretty damn well, and the execution died off in various areas. And then when it came to it in the final drive, they were able to put something together and finish.
Yeah, agreed. After watching, I kind of came away encouraged. When the game ended, I felt kind of 50-50, half glass full, or glass half full, glass half empty. I wasn't really sure where I stood, just because they had 4 scoring drives against the Browns. They very easily could have had 5. I really feel like Gino completes 2 more passes that he hits all the time, like that one speed out to DK that he skidded, and then on that 2-minute drill leading up to the half, and then that one where he throws it low on that slant to DK. Really feel like they hit those. They are moving on those drives, and that's something that he hits all the time. So like I'm not worried about that as a theme. If you just imagine like one less interception, and then he hits a couple more things that he normally hits, they're having a really good day. And that's while kind of the protection holding off abject disaster, but really not holding up that well. Like the protection was not great. It just wasn't terrible. Bradford was kind of an issue, but yeah, it was cool to see that like their structure had life throughout this game. I didn't come away from this game worried about Gino in the turnover worthy sense. I felt the first interception to DK, like one, it's like it's a one read thing. It's you're reading the corner pre-snap. When he gets the ball out as quickly as you can, the placement is accurate. The only quibble you make with Gino on that play is that if you leave some margin for error, so lead him a little bit. But he still put the ball like right in his breadbasket. Like he threw it accurately. It's just the corner made an incredible play. And how many comebacks, how many speed outs does Gino hit to DK? If you pause all of those plays at the release point and look at where the corner is relative to DK, he's thrown those balls with an even tighter coverage on DK from the corner. Really, like my take home from that interception is just an insane play by the corner. Like that's truly like the ability to drive on that and close on it is insane. I don't really think Gino did anything wrong. He just could have been better on it, and that would have been like lead Gino or lead DK a little bit more on it. But like it's not like he shouldn't have had the expectation the corner would have drove on it. The only other thing is that the corner saw that play earlier, so maybe he was being antsy for it. And then at that point, I would kind of think Waldron. But it's not like Gino like reading it wrong or like that's what he was supposed to do. So beyond that, like and then the one dropped interception, on the throw to Jackson, like Pete said, Jackson threw the wrong route. So in my eyes, as far as isolating the quarterback performance, I just think that one interception on that third down to Fant. Beyond that, I'm thinking, okay, I can live with one interception against the Browns. Hit the stuff that you can't hit, and like there was a room for like a pretty big day for the offense, honestly. Beyond
Yeah,
that,
so that may sound, because that sounds a bit frustrating to kind of hear us say that, I guess, because I agree. But I think it's important to emphasize that it's different to other struggles in that I think this is the first game I've felt, Gino missed stuff you through accuracy issues or just not quite being on the same page with DK in particular. And part of that's also being sped up crazy, right?
definitely by that
But
pass rush, yeah.
but past weeks that hasn't been the issue. The issue's been other things like being overconfident in what he sees. Now the pick was probably that, but or just like weird play calling, like people not being open on the play design for whatever reason, bad stuff. But this week I felt was kind of new issues to contend with, along with when you play a great opponent and those things are a problem, then you get in a bigger hole. Like, so I think the signs of the offense are pretty positive moving forward, right? In that, yeah, and I think
I
some
mean,
of those accuracy things from Gino is him not like fully setting his feet, which is very unlike Gino.
and again, like you said, sped up, right?
Yeah, and that's the pass
He
rush and.
he,
Yeah.
he did a lot of things really well this game, like in terms of like preventing losses. Like he did a lot of loss prevention this game,
Yeah,
and he
like the
still did
first quarter as well. Like this.
right. I mean, the first three drives, 17 points. Like that's awesome, And then some of those failed drives in the middle of the game, like even some of them had life, but then like you get a penalty. It's 2nd and 20 against the Cleveland Browns. You don't want to be in 2nd and 20 ever against the Cleveland Browns. And then like they had a couple of drives where just the structure was failing. But you're going to have those drives where against the Cleveland Browns, where not every drive is going to be successful. That's the whole point. It's just be cleaner here and there. You might have had 5 scoring drives this game. I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing for me. If they'd got the field goal, like rather than the pick at the end of the half,
right,
and then they'd got the field goal rather than the DK slant miss, which could have, that drive could have been even better than that because that would have put them in 3rd and short if they convert that. But if they convert that, then that drive maybe can turn out differently, maybe with a touchdown. But add 2 field goals and then it becomes a much more comfortable game. I think Gino.
Game. Yeah.
And I think there's a bit less pressing. There's a bit less stuff.
Yeah.
And
So, but it speaks to the fact that they had it within their grasp to do that realistically.
Yeah, and I think like Pete Carroll's always going to defend his quarterback and be positive about his quarterback. Like when it's the starter, it's a guy who's earned the job, a guy who they've semi-paid, given a 3-year contract, although it's kind of a 1-year/3 year, or 1-year/2 year/3 year. They've got various opportunities to get out of that, but I think he would be more negative about the offense if it warranted it. Like I think he's always going to be a positive guy as well, but I think like, he's not capping. Like there is I think you'd hear it if it had been bad.
Yeah.
Or what I should say is I think he's being pretty honest about what's transpiring.
Right. And the game-winning drive is also it's a nice capper. It puts a good taste in people's mouths. It makes it easier to stomach the other things, right?
Yeah, and maybe I wonder if they lean into like using some tempo a bit earlier in games as a way of kind of kickstarting things when execution for whatever reason is kind of rusty.
Maybe
just as a way of changing it up a bit because they kind of get stuck in ruts.
Or maybe to open the second half with it.
Right. That's what they did with Russ, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Also, and like they had 0 red zone woes really this game.
Yeah, it was all. Yeah.
Although, I mean, he created on one of them, scrambled, right? That's not really structure.
No,
But
well, it's
still,
like I said. Like I actually thought a lot of the good stuff from the score, the early scoring was only happens. You only get the results of like the 2 touchdowns from Gino's ability to improvise, like extend the play to a degree.
yeah.
Yeah. So the Ravens are going to be a big test, which again we did preview with Derek Clarkson. They've got a really good defense. So, but I also think they're kind of due like a complete game. It's also which is what Jay's just pointed out. If they can ever put together a complete game, it's going to be scary good. Yeah, it
I
is.
think, honestly, I think
You
the
also don't want
O-line...
to be that. Sorry, Griff, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, you don't want to be that team who is doing the complete games now.
Yeah, but so this team, it wasn't capable of doing complete games earlier on in the year because of the injuries. Like, the defense isn't what it is really till like week 3 in terms of just getting the guys on the field.
I prefer week 4.
Well, results wise, yes, but like
Well,
week 3
Jamal
was their
Adams'
week
first
1.
game.
There you go. Like, that was their week 1. Like, this team was always going to get better throughout the year, considering what happened to them in August, pretty much.
And like we said, if this Sunday is the first game where they have Cross, Lewis, Brown, Haynes,
Yeah,
that's
well,
like the first time.
So the Ravens they've got a good D tackle. Jadeveon Clowney is getting pressure, but this is the least talented D line they faced since really like the Rams game,
Yeah,
maybe the Lions game.
it's more about Evan Brown making some really good calls in pass pro.
It's about
Gino
being
not
organized.
forcing stuff into a dropping guy from the line of scrimmage, like he or being back yourself, but don't be really overconfident or brash.
Yeah. So I feel like if they can be organized, if they can communicate, I think they can win the matchup battle.
Right.
Like the one-on-one matchup battle, I think that can be to their favor. At least they win it more than they lose it. At least offense, defense. On the other side of the ball, I'm really curious to see what happens, man. Yeah. Aren't we all? Is it just am I the only one that's curious to see what happens?
I'm the only one who's curious to see what happens versus Lamar Jackson with the defense. I'm actually slightly nervous, but in our comment section, it was pointed out by Camden, friend of the show, that Witherspoon as and his impact in the slot against Lamar could be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, because I spoke to Derek about how, we spoke to Derek, but I kind of mentioned in that discussion about how you could have Adams maybe and Brooks kind of paying attention to Jackson in different ways. But yeah, Spoon kind of inside, it could be a big moment for him there.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, there you go, chat. That's our show. Please do like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening, 5-star reviews. Follow Griff at CMikeSpinMove. Follow me at Matty F. Brown. We'll be back Sunday with a post-game show. It'll be after the afternoon slate of games. So even though the game kicks off at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we'll be live following the afternoon slate of games after Pete Carroll's press conference. And hopefully talking about a really impressive all sides of the ball victory. Make sure you do check out Griff's video on Leonard Williams, the new Seahawks defensive lineman, Big Cat Leo. And I will have a video on a Seahawks player coming out tomorrow, which is Friday if you're listening, post live or watching post live, on a Seahawks player that no one will expect a breakdown on. So how about that? See if you can guess who it is.
Is it Jake Bobo?
No. We did Jake Bobo the other week. Yeah. like the stream, comment, etc., etc. Sorry, it was like just us trying to work out their run fits. I hope that was enjoyable. If you found that enjoyable, let us know. We had done offense for 3 weeks. We kind of owed you just looking at run fits for ages.
People got to see our process of like working things out in real time.
Yeah, because it needed some of that. Yeah, and we don't know the exact way that they're doing run defense quite yet. Our sources haven't quite revealed that, but they will.
They're not singing yet.
No,
they will though.
They will.
What if we like never see that man coverage call again versus Y off all year long? And it's
or we do see it, but they rock and roll. They play it like City.
Yeah.
How do
you not spin the safeties there? I don't get it.
How do you not? How do you not? Because it happens too fast, and they're scared about not having a post player.
Against PJ Walker. Against PJ Walker.
They're so like unprepared. They're just vibing.
You've got Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon. You can handle the post.
Oh. A love video would be lovely, would it, Jay? Well, what if I told you this player had never taken a snap of offense or defense?
I like this.
Oh, Mojombo's getting close.
We're getting super niche here.
Tyler Johnson is Michael Dixon, everyone. Ooh, yep, you're all on the right lines, but no cigar. Find out tomorrow, and make sure you check out Griff's video. All right, thanks, chat.
It's gonna be a banger.
See ya.
Well,